You're listening to 17 Carat K-Pop. For more information about the variety of topics covered on the show, as well as my other podcast, How to Stan, visit 17caratkpop.weebly.com. And if you enjoy this episode, please consider becoming a monthly donor to support my work and allow it to continue to go on and be free for all to access for as low as 99 cents a month. Visit the Support the Show link on my site's homepage for more information. Hello, everybody! Welcome back to 17 Carat K-Pop. So much news to get to today. Let's start with story number 1, BTS's 8-year anniversary. The 2021 muster, aka the BTS annual Bandiversary concert, was once again a huge success, with over 1.3 million paying viewers watching the show from 195 countries. Meanwhile, their single Butter has set new records, becoming the first song since Aerosmith's I Don't Want to Miss a Thing from 1998 to spend 4 consecutive weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It is also now officially a career high and BTS's longest time staying at the number 1 spot on the Billboard Hot 100. My 5 favorite things about the show this year. 1 has got to be just the setup. The fact they filmed this, they couldn't have an audience but still chose to do it at a physical location that was beautifully decorated. It felt very important to have that sense of normalcy for this yearly tradition. It wasn't some weird green screen effect to make them look like this is an in-person physical venue. This was a real decorated, in-person, physical venue. I just really appreciate that they went to that extent to keep it normal this year. It made me more nostalgic for their live shows, but I'd rather feel that than feel this weird sense of, this doesn't feel right, this isn't normal, about this beloved tradition. There truly is something so exciting and surreal about the visualizations I've had listening to their songs. The magic shop I picture, the microcosmos, the tiny universe I picture when listening to songs with those titles. So it feels just like an extra cool, surreal, dream come true moment when that scene I've been spending time alone in my head in is a real place where the members are. In the physical world, it feels very cool. And they really did bring to life the microcosmos as I'd imagined it. Very beautiful. Number 2, the reflections on how far they've come. They were recapping how they used to live in a very small space, and now they're living in skyscrapers. Literally a started from the bottom situation. And RM alluded more to that because when singing Moving On, they changed the lyric from 3rd floor thank you to 8 years thank you. Really meaningful, as well as the unexpected throwbacks on the set list. I guess that I should not be surprised they sang Moving On, but I'll admit, I was pleasantly surprised. And Wishing on a Star, who thought they'd bring that back? They also brought new life into newer hits like RM rapping in Spanish in Chicken Noodle Soup. Who saw that coming? But honestly, the best performance had to be Daechita. I love watching August D just enjoy the show. He spent part of the performance on his rightful throne. There was something incredibly satisfying about both watching him take a rest and just look over his subjects in a way, mixed with the members showing that they've memorized their fellow band members' songs so well and could embody him in his fierceness and that alter ego. It felt like they took an acting course for August D. Copycats, and it made for a really, really fun live performance. Number 4, RM addressing the timing of the show. He admitted that the members had considered postponing the show this year so that they could have the show at a later date with South Korea's COVID protocols permitting at least a partial live audience. But they ultimately decided Muster was meant to be a show every June 13th and 14th, and it just wouldn't feel right changing it. And it may just seem like a number, but again, I'm very grateful they made this show as normal as possible for the fans again this year, and that day truly would have felt different in a bad way without Muster. So my 5 favorite details about this year's Muster are 1, the setup, 2, their emotional reflections on how far they've come, 3, the set list, especially for the Daechita performance, 4, their decision to keep the show June 13th and 14th, and lastly, hearing RM say the quote of the year, "I need this on shirts, I need this on mugs," as a default text message auto button or something. And I can't even say the word on the show without getting this episode taken down probably, so I'll just say the acronym Sugar Honey Iced Tea. But he said, "After this pandemic, Sugar Honey Iced Tea," and that is just the line of the year. After this pandemic, Sugar Honey Iced Tea, I will do this, I will do that, I will feel this, I will feel that. Gonna start saying that a lot going forward. Story number 2. There's a big update in the vote rigging scandal that plagued the show Produce 101. Previously reported on this show, Mnet had issued a statement saying they had negotiated compensation with, or had been in the talks at least, starting to negotiate compensation for all the Produce 101 contestants who had been affected by vote rigging, which was revealed through a criminal probe. You can't just do that in South Korea. If you rig votes for a reality show, that's against the law. Those suspicions of vote rigging had first arisen in fall of 2019, and a sentence has been issued to Kim Tae-eun, who has been found guilty. On June 20th, Seoul Central District Court sentenced him to 1 year in prison. The planning and production team behind the show, they got served 10 million won fines, nearly $9,000 US equivalent. Speaking of TV-related news, remember on a previous episode called Pen 17, I talked about shows like Pen 15 and a similar show, Chad, that had a K-pop themed episode. That I didn't care for. But now there's an episode of a show that I think actually did do it right, did do right by K-pop. On June 16th of this year, Season 2 of the show Dave premiered. If you know anything about the show, or the star of the show Dave Bird, you know that I have to really water down how I describe him in the show to keep this episode up and G-rated. His often juvenile humor made me concerned about how he would approach a K-pop themed episode. And I was so pleasantly surprised. Who would have thought that Dave would have been the show to do a K-pop theme right, as opposed to all the others who have seemed to just use K-pop as to get their show to get social media attention or whatever. But this one had better intentions. This episode is called International Gander. It was written by Dave Bird, Jeff Schaefer, and Lee Sun-jin, who actually grew up in Korea and grew up a fan of K-pop. He's actually said before that Dave has more Asian writers in the writer's room than in any other he has been in before. They interviewed several unnamed K-pop artists and executives for this episode to make sure what they were doing was no mockery, but an actual true depiction. They interviewed several K-pop artists and executives for the episode who said, quote, "We found there were a lot of people either leeching off K-pop's momentum or finding ways to hate on it," unquote. So they are acutely aware of the fact that some of these artists are teaming up with them for the clout, not for a deeper understanding and appreciation for K-pop itself. Just a very surface level interest, rooted in self-interest. And this attitude is demonstrated through the subversive humor of the character Dave, who in this episode is an overt clout chaser. He's in a creative slump. He describes K-pop as his cheat code to virality, and he and the other main characters go to Korea to make a quote-unquote authentic music video that is very bad and stereotype-filled. CL plays herself in this episode. She's actually a fan of the show and says it was very much worth the 2-week quarantine prior to filming her scenes. They plan for her to be featured in the music video, but she does not show up on time. They go looking for her, and long story short, Dan gets arrested. It's a whole thing. Basically, it ended up being their fault. They assumed American time, and so they gave her the wrong time. So it's their fault that she was, in their eyes, late to the shoot. Part 1 is setting up that scene with the music video shoot, where Dave is trying to film a video that is clearly cultural appropriation, plus just downright insensitive and offensive and just very, very, very stereotypical when people who don't know anything about K-pop think of K-pop. Here's what ignorant stuff they assume it's all about. Close-minded concept he's filming. Part 2 focuses on the consequences of Dave and Dan believing these super old, thinly sourced rumors about CL, and in general what they call the dark side of K-pop. So they believe that trope. They start speculating CL is totally controlled by the dark forces or what have you, and not in control of her actions, and a cog in the machine and nothing more. So that sours their relationship even further, to say the least. I won't give away any spoilers about how it all turns out, but the big takeaways I got were that Dave is a caricature of the type of person in the music industry for the wrong reasons. He's not very personally invested in the art he's making and cares less about impact and storytelling than impact in terms of numbers and ratings. He doesn't view music as art. He views it solely as a commodity. And that reductive attitude is what a lot of people have toward K-pop who are ignorant about it. They view it as a commodity and not art, as if it can't be both. But music is both. And so I think this episode's message leaves a stronger impact because it addresses so much in such a short amount of time. It deals with everything from writer's block and other reasons why you might turn towards other types of music for inspiration, the problem with unreliable sources of rumors, to believing a trope without questioning it, to seeing celebrities as not fully human, and how can you address so many weighty topics in a single episode of a TV show? You can't. And that's the point. This episode scratches the surface in so many ways that it is kind of a mirror of the viewers and the public at large. It's saying, hey, there's so much more to K-pop than what meets the eye. Let's not generalize. Let's step back and appreciate music for the art form that it is, not just brush off an entire industry over rumors or a linear definition, linear perception, etc. So I think the reason why the K-pop episode of Dave worked, in so many ways the K-pop episode of Chad was disappointing, comes down to a couple of things. One is just sourcing and intent and really working hard, doing due diligence to hear from different voices in the K-pop space and someone who grew up in Korea. That context is crucial to make it an effective use of humor rather than looking like a mere parody. Second of all, it's the fact that so many things to unpack were thrown at viewers at once, regarding not just K-pop, but tabloids and things like that, which is supposed to make you stop and think, whoa, there's a lot here, let's slow down and process it. Lastly, it worked because it checks out. It didn't feel forced. For Chad and some other shows, it's felt more forced, like, what can we do to get more people talking about the show, or just excite the viewers? It felt more like a strategic move, rather than a genuine story arc-based move. Whereas with Dave, the theme makes sense to address, because the premise of the show is about this aspiring famous singer trying to figure out how to get super popular and where he fits in the music world and where he does not fit in. So overall, very impressed with how this was carried out, with care and intent and diligence. Today's topic number 4, making international moves. Boyz II Men, that's right, the Boyz II Men, is officially working with Ravi's company Groovelyn for future Korean promo. This will kick off officially with Groovelyn's own group Vibe teaming up with Boyz II Men for a new single called Love Me Once Again, out June 30th. And then they will officially manage the Korean promotions for Boyz II Men going forward, which to me implies a very long-term partnership with a lot of projects in the pipeline. Two main thoughts I have about that. One is that a Stray Kids and Boyz II Men collaboration has to happen, or The Boys with the group of Boyz II Men. The puns and the hashtags, the marketing strategy writes itself. Second comment I have is just that it is very refreshing and feels fair and long overdue that the shoe is on the other foot now. Because for decades, non-Western artists have had to actively push their music to get any buzz in Western countries. And the other way around feels like it has not been the same uphill battle. So to see Korean artists taking a group popular in the West under their wings feels like an interesting tables have turned moment. But the Korean artists pushing their music in Western countries does continue, hopefully with less of an uphill battle now. In the newest evidence we have this increased globalization of music promo. The expectation, and not the exception, is that Monsta X's manager, Eshi Gazit, has launched a new company. So here are the details. This company he launched with BMG, which Sony Music basically owns, has a 50% stake in. It's kind of a subsidiary of Sony. So BMG and Eshi are teaming up for a company called Intertwine. Both Wonho and the current active members of Monsta X are going to officially join Intertwine. And maybe more Starship Entertainment artists will follow. Now you might be thinking, didn't Wonho leave Starship? Actually, he joined Highline Entertainment, which is a subsidiary of Starship. So the same manager is still Eshi for Wonho and the active current Monsta X members. The plan is for Monsta X to release their second full English album later this year under Intertwine. And here's the biggest aspect of this deal for marketing implications. The fail for K-pop artists' work to reach certain chart placement, radio play, etc. is not just some deep implicit bias against non-English songs, sociological reasoning. I could go into that rant, and I have before on the show. But even it's just technical. I'm just talking logistically, it's also an uphill battle just because places like Kaiko have no distribution deals with retail stores in the US. So the number of physical album copies sold that might in turn affect radio play and other opportunities here is non-existent until now. So later this year, the distribution deal will go into effect between Intertwine and Starship, meaning that Starship Entertainment artists' work can be sold in Target, Walmart, etc. in the USA. Doesn't mean that places like Kaiko in South Korea will have distribution here, but who knows, maybe if Starship as a company decides to do this, it will inspire more all-encompassing sources of album sales in South Korea to do the same, and push for ways to find paths to US retail distribution. So you never know, maybe a year or two down the road, when you go to Target or something, a lot more than just BTS will be on the album shelves. Story number 5. Blackpink's 5-year anniversary is coming this August, and to celebrate, they are releasing what is aptly titled and very Blackpink titled Blackpink the Movie, which will celebrate Blackpink the album and other projects they've released the past 5 years. In 100 countries around the world, you can see Blackpink the Movie. Certain 4D theaters will even allow for a super immersive viewing experience. You can feel like you're actually in a concert crowd. The movie will feature both live performances and talk segments. The movie will premiere in Korea August 4th. A teaser poster for the movie hints at several more celebratory bandiversary projects coming out around the same time, but no specific details, so I will keep you posted. In other Blackpink news, their documentary, Light Up the Sky, was just submitted by YG Entertainment for Emmy consideration in 6 different categories, including Outstanding Documentary or Nonfiction Special. Story number 6, fandom names. Purple Kiss announced their fandom name is Plory, which is a combination of purple and glory. The boy band Cypher has officially confirmed their fandom is called The Clues, which I honestly think is a really cute fandom name. And T1419 has announced their name is Edelweiss. Edelweiss. This is a really surprising choice. Maybe it has to do with the fact that their band is named after the age range when they debuted. They debuted when they were ages 14 to 19. And the song Edelweiss in The Sound of Music is a song for a scene where the captain is rediscovering the joys of music with his kids. So maybe that's why I'm totally speculating here, because the band said is that it refers to, quote, pure and precious memories and hope, unquote, because it's the name of a white flower. But it may have something to do with The Sound of Music. The song is associated with relearning about music with kids, and these guys were literally kids with that childhood sense of wonder about them still when they debuted. Interestingly, in the film The Sound of Music, the song references the flower, and that's what it represents, is rediscovering music with this youthful feeling. But in the musical version of the story, the flower is used as a symbol of Austrian pride. I just thought that was an interesting, possibly unintentional symbolism. Anyway, I do think it is a cute name for a fandom. Topic number 7. 17 updates. And there are a lot of them. Over the past 2 weeks, 17 went from being double million album sellers, meaning 2 of their albums had sold at least 1 million copies, to triple million album sellers thanks to an ode, to quadruple million album sellers thanks to Your Choice. Aside from that chart achievement, the members have also been getting much deserved promo in South Korea. Hoshi, Mingyu, The 8, and Vernon are all some of the latest guests on Baek Janwon's Alley Restaurant. Hoshi, SQ, and Seungkwan were on Amazing Saturday's Do Re Mi Market. As of recording time, 17 is about to appear on MTV's Fresh Out Live. They performed on Jimmy Kimmel Live the other night, which was a pleasant surprise, because I honestly thought that would get canceled because of their quarantine, but I guess they filmed it as a group, and they're all isolating together anyway. Or maybe they filmed it weeks ago. I don't know. But they were still on Jimmy Kimmel as planned, and that was a very pleasant surprise. Hoshi released a new song called Power, and there is a new C-drama OST from the 8th June, Joshua, Vernon, and Mingyu. It's for the C-drama Falling Into Your Smile, and the song is called Warrior. 17 is tentatively having an offline and online fan meeting this August 6th through 8th, COVID restrictions at the time permitting. They will have both an in-person crowd at this year's fan event and the option to live stream it. Visit 17's Weverse for more info about that. DK is officially confirmed to be returning as King Arthur in the musical Excalibur. He debuted in that role back in 2019, and he's back for what is tentatively scheduled as an opening show August 17th in Seoul. The 8 is dealing with an ankle injury, so he will not strain himself during promo performances, but he is still going to participate in some promotional activities that don't require physical strain. Obviously, it's terrible that one of their staff members tested positive for COVID and caused them to postpone all of their promo events until the end of the month, but if we can find a silver lining, it's that it gives the 8 time to heal physically before promoting it, and then maybe he'll be feeling stronger than ever and ready to perform fully next month. And happy, very belated birthday to Hoshi. He also celebrated his birthday by donating 100 million Korean won to the Namyangju Welfare Foundation, which put his total donation amount over the threshold needed to officially enter the Community Chest of Korea Honor Society, an honor that goes to those who have donated a certain amount of money over their lifetime. He also celebrated his birthday by eating the butt of a tiger-themed cake. He said he ate the butt first because cutting the cake in half or in any other way upset him too much. Looked like someone was killing the tiger. This was very much a Hoshi thing to do. 17 has also been releasing a lot of other promotional content lately that was made ahead of time or could be done while in isolation. The Ready to Love choreography video is out now. Their new interview with the Recording Academy is on the Academy's official site. Those are the big topics of the day. Now let's get to your miscellaneous rapid-fire headlines. Yering from G-Friend just signed with Sublime Artists Agency, the same company Yeonjae from GOT7, Hani from EXID, and Rain have all been affiliated with. Big congrats to Zexki star Jae-soo Won, who is officially getting married. His marriage plans were officially announced in a statement published by YG Entertainment. And speaking of YG Entertainment, confirmed that iKON is joining the Weverse app July 21st. This is where they will post some never-before-seen behind-the-scenes content from their time on the show Kingdom, and much more. Lots of exciting online concerts and fan meetings are scheduled for the rest of the summer. July 10th, 1 p.m. Korean time, which is 3 a.m. Chicago time, Central Time Zone, Ace will be having an online concert. Go to their social media to see more info about that. Then July 18th, 3 p.m. Korean time, which is 1 a.m. Central Time, P1 Harmony will have an online fan meeting. You can go to My Music Taste website for more information about that one. Also info via My Music Taste. Info about Golden Child's online concert, July 17th and 18th, 2 p.m. Korean time, which is midnight Central Time. Following the news that 2 members left the girl group Signature, 2 more have officially joined, Chloe and Dohee. Brave Girls are the new spokespeople for a tea brand called Tea Treat. Treasure just unveiled their official lightstick design. Twice made history as their Taste of Love mini album debuted at number 6, making it one of the first EPs by a female K-pop group to enter the Billboard 200 charts top 10. Massive, massive deal. And Twice is now the first girl group, period, to reach number 1 on an iTunes album sales chart with just an EP. J-Rock icon Miyavi is officially set to be a panelist for Amazon Prime Video's Masked Singer Japan. I will keep you posted on details about that. Speaking of icons, Taeyeon has revealed that he has 2 more songs completed and ready to release on SoundCloud sooner rather than later. He said on a recent V Live that he actually has a lot more songs than that done, but he wants to take time to really polish them. But 2 are pretty much, he thinks, officially ready to be released, so stay tuned. The main spoiler he revealed is just that one of the 2 songs focuses on how he's feeling right now. The other song focuses on how he was feeling at the beginning of this year. Meanwhile, his SoundCloud track Monroe just passed 3 million streams. By the way, I officially updated the NCT Talk page on the show's website, so if you want to see all the Taeyeon song commentary episodes listed, at the bottom of the NCT page I have a Taeyeon subsection where you can find links to all of those episodes. Some scary COVID updates. Jisoo from Lovelyz did test positive for COVID-19. Fortunately, all of her bandmates tested negative, but they will self-isolate until July 4th. Minnie from G-Idol is currently self-isolating in Thailand. She tested negative, but someone who is considered a close contact of hers tested positive. NCT's Runjun just joined Instagram, as did Yuto from Pentagon. In South Korea alone, the BTS meal at McDonald's just in this past month it's been out, has been ordered 1.2 million times. Over 1 million BTS meals sold in South Korea alone. Imagine how many more millions if we were looking at a global total. Yugyeom and Davida's single I Want You Around has topped iTunes in 35 countries. And Bam Bam's solo EP Ribbon topped iTunes in 34 countries. TXT's The Chaos Chapter Freeze album became their second #1 album on Billboard's top album sales chart. Ace's new album, Siren Dawn, has reached the top of iTunes charts in 12 regions. TXT continued to break records with The Chaos Chapter Freeze, which is officially the first K-pop album of 2021 to spend 2 weeks in the Billboard 200 charts top 40. BTS The Best is a Japanese compilation album that surpassed, as of recording time, 1.1 million copies sold. And EXO's Don't Fight the Feeling surpassed 1 million copies sold. Ace's video for Down has surpassed 1 million views. Their video for Favorite Boys has surpassed 9 million. Lightsum's Vanilla has surpassed 10 million views, as has Save by NCT 127. Actually, that's the version posted to the NCT 127 channel. Combined with the Amoeba Culture channel, the Save video actually has over 12 million views. Reaching 40 million views, Jessie's What Type of X? 2 NCT 127 videos have surpassed 70 million views, Simon Says and Regular, the English version. Lots of videos have surpassed 100 million views. Super Junior's Mamacita, aespa's Next Level, which is actually their fastest to reach this, and Twice with Alcohol Free, which is also their fastest to reach 100 million, and their 18th to do so. NCT 127's Kick It is hopefully on the way to 127 million views, but it did just surpass 125 million. EXO's Tempo video just surpassed 200 million views. Blackpink's How You Like That video is officially the fastest Korean girl group video to reach 900 million views. ENHYPEN has officially become million album sellers. Taeyeon has reached 5 million Instagram followers. It took him 119 days, making him the fastest SM Entertainment artist and fastest overall male K-pop idol to reach that. 119 is also the name of an NCT Dream song, so it feels very poetic. That wraps up today's K-pop news coverage. Lots more in store for the show next week and beyond, so stay tuned. As always, thank you all for listening and supporting, and I will talk to you all again very, very soon.